Laurie, you ran 7 Queensland for a while. What was your business strategy for that?
I think whether it's a regional television network, a major television network, it's pretty much the same business. What it's about is trying to get as many people as you can watching. The first thing you've got to do is let them know that you exist. So marketing, I think, was really probably the main thing we concentrated on, trying to make sure that everybody knew that we were a local channel, that we were focused on them and that we had product that they were interested in.
When you first started there, what were the first sort of decisions that you had to make? First
thing I did was actually go back and see what had been done in the past and ask people what worked and what didn't work. And in this particular case, there were a whole series of local events, and we had 7 different stations right throughout Queensland. And in each market, there were key events that we targeted, and some that we already had, others that were sponsored by the opposition. And some of the key ones that were with the opposition, we went and acquired those. So we looked to see what were the things in each market that people in the market cared about, and then associated ourselves with that on the basis that that reinforced our localism.
And were ratings the only form of measure that you used for that, how you were progressing?
Ratings is obviously the key factor, and in a commercial television network, that's the currency, and every morning that's the first thing that everybody cares about. And essentially there's an old saying in television that ratings equals revenue. So if you concentrate on the ratings, the revenue flows.
Did that happen?
Sure did. We were able to, the network was running well, I'd have to say, but I was able to push just a little bit further to get across the line to win the ratings for the first time. And the fact that you win gives you an added advantage with the advertising agencies. And so in the following year, we were able to record a record profit based on the fact that we were the #1 network in Queensland. And you can't go past that.
So you put all of that down to simply marketing yourself as the local network?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting that the year that 7 Queensland won the ratings, the 7 network was actually not rating particularly well. So we outperformed the network. And the way we did that was by promoting ourselves as being a local network. And we took programs that were produced by the network, but we found ways to make people feel that they had some relationship to the local community. Local news is very important. We had on the Sunshine Coast, we had the award-winning news bulletin, and that certainly drew a good audience for the rest of the day. So there were a lot of things that came together, but essentially it was about making sure that people knew you were there.
Well, with regional television, news is probably the only local production you have. Did you find that you had to spend more on local news?
Promoting the local news was really key to the strategy, and one of the things we did was link up with the radio stations in the same markets, and so that our presenters would be appearing on radio programs in the morning. They were guest presenters during the holiday period. So we built up a relationship that made everybody understand that our local news was produced locally by people in the community, and I think that really is the key. When you rest of your schedule comes from the network, you work on what you've got, and news is very important. News, weather, sport are the things that they care about in local communities, and that's the thing that we accented.
Did you yourself become involved in the local communities as the boss?
Very difficult to do that when you've got 7 separate stations right up the Queensland coast. So in the end, you rely on having station managers that are involved in the local community. But I did a lot of travelling, management by walking around it's called, and being seen to be there, making sure that the network was represented at major events alongside the local manager. And I think that works a lot because you've got a variety of television stations, they've all got a local manager. The one that can bring the network people along, getting network personalities was also a strategy that we used. So if there was a major event in Cairns or Townsville or somewhere like that, we made sure that we got a network personality up so that it reinforced the fact that you were actually part of the network that was providing the programs that they were watching.
What were some of the sort of more lasting lessons that you learned during your time at 7 Queensland?
I think the most important lesson is really about promoting. That's the most significant thing that you spend money on, no matter whether it's a regional network, whether it's a metropolitan network or a pay TV operation. It's letting people know what's going on. People will not watch a program if they don't know about it. And the water cooler thing of people talking to each other is fine, but you've got to seed that by getting into radio, print, anything you can that lets people know about the fact that you're existing and you've got programs that they want to watch.